Hello again, flute players. It's Mr. Amesbury here. This video will take you through how to play the first 5 notes on your flute. In our last video, we worked on reading a fingering chart and how to play the note F. Let's start there. Your fingering chart for F says that your left hand thumb and first 3 fingers are being pressed. Make sure to skip a key between your first and second fingers, and make sure that you're pressing on the paddle and not the golf club. From your right hand, make sure that your first finger and your pinky are pressed. That will look like this. And again, on the back with your thumb, it's the paddle and not the golf club. So there's the fingering for F. Go ahead and hold that up to your lips. Take a big breath through your mouth and blow with your proper embouchure. That's what F will sound like if you're playing it correctly. Something that happens sometimes is you may get this sound. That note is low F. To get it to come out as the high F, try blowing faster air, making your embouchure smaller, and aiming your airstream up higher. A great flute player eventually will be able to play both low F and high F. So if you want an extra challenge, go ahead and try playing both. The one that we will use most of the time in band is the high one, but if you can play both with great control, you're doing yourself a lot of great favors for the future. Of the 5 notes that we learn at the beginning of the lesson book, F is the highest. Next, let's try E flat. The symbol that looks like a lowercase b is a flat symbol. What that means is that this note is slightly lower than the pitch E. In band, flute players often have notes that are flat as well as some notes that are natural. Let's look at the fingering chart for E flat. In our left hand, we're going to press our thumb key, remember the paddle, not the golf club, along with our second and third fingers. Don't push your first finger or your pinky because those symbols are not shaded in on the fingering chart. And then you're going to press all 4 fingers from your right hand. So that fingering looks like this. Second and third finger from here, along with the thumb key, all 4 fingers from your right hand. That's E flat. Next, let's move on to the note D. This note is very similar to E flat in its fingering as well as its sound. You're going to play almost the same fingering that you did for E flat. The only difference is that you're not going to press your right hand pinky key. So again, you'll have your left hand thumb, second and third finger, and you'll have your first 3 fingers of your right hand pressing those keys. D is one of the very few notes that does not use your right hand pinky key. D sounds like this. Now let's try the note C. This note is very unique because you don't have very many keys pressed down. It's also one of the very few notes that does not use your thumb. The keys you will press when playing C from your left hand is just your first finger. From your right hand, just your pinky. That's it. You might find that it's a little bit tricky to hold your flute while playing this note. If we check your hand position, it might make it easier. You want the side of your first finger knuckle to help stabilize the flute against your lower lip. So when I'm holding my flute, I'm pressing the side of that finger, that knuckle, into the flute just a little bit to help me balance it against my face. Another point of balance is my right hand thumb and pinky. If I'm holding there, it's going to make it even easier to hold my flute. So when I'm playing C, I'm pushing this key, but I'm also keeping my knuckle against the edge of the flute so that I can stabilize it against my bottom lip. That's what C sounds like. Now let's try the note B flat. For this note, you're going to press your left hand thumb and first finger, along with your right hand, first finger, and pinky. Sometimes I like to call this note 1 and 1 because it makes it easier to remember. You have your first finger from both hands pressed down, along with your thumb and pinky, which are both pressed down for nearly every note on the flute. Here is what B flat sounds like. To help make sure that you're matching the correct pitches, go ahead and download a free app called Bandmate Chromatic Tuner, which I have typed on the screen. This app is available on most smartphones and most tablets, and again, it's free. Something I'd like to cover really quick about the note F, which we talked about near the beginning of this video, is when you're using that tuner app, be sure that the tuner is saying you're playing the note on the top line of the staff, not the bottom space of the staff. That bottom space of the staff F is the low one, and the top line of the staff F is the high one. But again, if you can do both and play both with great control, good for you. Thank you so much for watching. Keep practicing several times each week with the help of these videos and that tuner app. Be sure to check out our next video where we will show you how to swab out your flute.